Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Circle Life and Business Show. Today we have a really great topic because it's beginning of the year still. And what happened to my 2020 plan is what we're talking about today.
I thought you were going to say, I thought something was wrong.
Uh-oh,
Like,
like keep you on your toes. So I want to introduce you to my co-hosts. I have Tracy Evans.
Hey, everyone.
I have Heather Meeks. Sorry, I skipped Tammy Hudson. She was already, her head was moving.
Hello.
So I was following her lead, and I'm Lynn Pelzer. So today we want to talk to you about this because sometimes we have all these great ideas coming into the beginning of a year, the New Year's resolution, all that kind of crazy that can happen. But you do need to have a plan ongoing all the time. So now is a good time to revisit it if you either had a plan and it fell apart or you never really got around to making one. So
Right.
Tracy, handing it to you.
When you think about planning, there's that big quote, right? We always see where if you don't have a plan, you'll get nowhere, right? You can't get where you're going if you don't know where you're going. So
Plan to fail or something.
Failing the plan is plan to fail. Yes, exactly. So all that nice, encouraging stuff. So when you think about planning, and many of us are all in the same boat, right? We have these grand dreams at the beginning of January. Maybe you made a plan. I hope you made a plan. Please tell me you made a plan, some sort of plan. Even if you just planned to make a plan.
Okay.
At this point, I'm good with that. But make a plan. But now here we are, we're a little bit into 2020, and maybe that plan hasn't come to fruition, or maybe it wasn't as solid as you wanted it to be, or maybe you do need to make some tweaks to it. So one of the biggest things is if you didn't have a plan, or your plan is going offside, is figure out why. Why don't you have a plan? Why didn't you have a plan? And I find a lot of times, even with myself, I'll have a plan, a general plan. I always do my big planning day at the beginning of the year to say, here's my financial goals, here's my relationship goals, here's my farm goals, all that stuff, personal goals. And sure enough, 3 weeks in, I'm like, oh yeah, I was going to work on that this year, and here we are.
Yeah.
And I haven't done it. So there's a few things that stop us from fulfilling our vision that I've kind of discovered. The first one is we don't have a vision. We don't have a solid, clear plan. So that's the biggest deal breaker, is if you don't know where you're going, you're going to have some challenges. Other things that might be happening is you have a lack of courage. So maybe you had these big lofty goals, but there's still that something holding you back. Maybe there's a bit of fear. Maybe there's some challenges that way. The second thing is maybe you had these big lofty goals and you actually don't know what you're doing, and you don't have the skill to do those lofty goals, which is fair. Like, we all have areas of growth that we need to do. So I'd say the next thing to do is assess, do I have everything in my toolkit from a knowledge and a networking perspective? Do I have all the things I need in order to make this plan happen? And then lastly, how's your motivation? Like, how bad do you want it? Because if it's really not, if your plan is not coming together, and you have the skill and you're not afraid and you have this good solid plan and it's still not happening, you really need to ask yourself, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
Because in those situations, if you have everything you need and it's still not happening, odds are it's the wrong plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
that's okay.
It's totally
It's
okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely okay. Yeah, I know when I started, I had a very lofty goal in terms of corporate development, and then I added another piece into it, and I said, you know what, I really want to work with youth. So my plan had to shift because I had different networking needs and requirements in order to tap into a different market, and I had to shift my plan. And that's the beautiful part of planning, is it's not set it and forget it. It's set it, review, tweak, right? So if you're not flexible with your plan, that's another way that your plan can fail. Because your plan is allowed to ebb and flow. I don't know if any of you have any feedback on the kind of the 4 things I talked about where you've had some big challenges with your plan.
Well, for me, and I don't know if it's a challenge or not, but for me, I went into 2020, as you guys know, because I'm moving to BC. So I went into 2020 with a plan from a business standpoint. And I had to make some decisions based on how I want my life to be while I'm living in BC. And moving into here, I was like, okay, so you're going to maintain your social media business. You're going to build the jewelry business. You're going to continue doing the circle. And everything else you're pretty much going to eliminate, right? Like I gave up Fem City, blah, blah, blah. But But what ended up happening as I really started, and that happened only a couple weeks into 2020, as I really thought about it, I realized that the jewelry really wasn't going to be part of my journey moving forward.
Mhm.
I looked at it and said, okay, so if I want to make this work, then I need to do this, 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 this. And I went, but that's not my intent for moving to BC. My intent is to get out and enjoy the mountains and photography.
Right.
But no, if I want to build the jewelry, then I need to go out and meet people. I need to do networking. I need to go to vendor events. So now my weekends are spent at vendor events. So I now have had to change my plan, and I made the decision to let go of the jewelry, right? So for me, I don't have a plan per se where I sat down and wrote out my financial goals or step-by-steps or things like that. Most of my stuff I keep in my head. That's just how I work. But I've had to alter it already based on just doing some soul searching for myself.
Yeah.
You've had to have a lot of courage to do all of those things,
Absolutely.
even
Yeah.
deciding on that last piece.
Yeah,
of
because
going,
I built a
this-
team,
I know.
Yeah.
right? So
And you
now I had
loved
to
it.
tell my team,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm not even in it a year, and I'm already leaving the business. So I didn't know how that was going to look on my reputation as well.
Mhm.
But the reality was I just had to be truthful to myself, truthful to my team, and truthful to my clients or my customers, saying, no, I've really realized that what my end game is, what my goals are, doesn't incorporate the jewelry.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the reality of it,
And
right?
that's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that because I think so many of us get stuck in having to be uber productive, and our plan has to, you know, include, you know, just a million things to you know, for myself personally, I, being in the network marketing industry, you are surrounded by so many people who have this quote unquote millionaire mindset.
Yeah.
And it's grind and it's go. And for me, you know, doing a plan on, you know, where I wanted to be, a lot of things didn't really match where I am. So my plan went from professional to knowing that, you know what, I have to work on myself.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
it's now personal. It's now, you know, I've completely overhauled my diet. I just went back to the gym. I'm 3 in and I didn't die. Imagine that. But you know, sometimes our plan, you know, does shift, and it really opens up a whole new chapter. Like for me, for instance, I know that there are so many things that I, at this stage in my life, cannot commit to. Whether, I mean, for me, I still have a young child in grade school, and my whole purpose is to be as available as I can for my children.
Yeah.
So from a professional standpoint, so many things just aren't aligning. And it's like, why? And you start to kind of dig deeper, and I start to realize that there are so many things that I need to personally work on
Mhm.
for myself, again, to be the best mom, to be the best wife, to be the best I can be for me.
So that plan that we do, you know, coming into a new year, you know, ultimately we believe that that's how we're starting. But as we go through and really break down
Mhm.
those plans and getting into the nitty gritty of it is when we start to realize there's things that we're just, you know what, this isn't going to work well for me, or it's not one of my strengths. Now I need to look at outsourcing it,
Right.
you know, because if I truly want to hit that goal and I can't do it on my own, I need help, then I have to invest the money as well, because everyone's afraid to spend money, let's be honest, and to outsource. But the reality is, if there's something in your goals or your plans that you can't achieve because you really either don't have the time or you don't know it, then you've got to outsource it. So you can start with that plan, but yeah. Now, would you recommend that you look at it a daily basis or like monthly? Like, at what point do you keep going back into your plan to readjust it?
You know,
Quarterly, maybe?
ideally, it's going to depend on your business and how quickly things change in your business, right? Like if you're in a telecom business or something like that, you're going to have to keep an eye on your plan much more diligently
Right,
because
okay.
products change, things change,
Yeah.
technology changes. For me, I like to look at it monthly. My husband and I have a corporation, so we have to come together and see how the whole corporation is working, not just Dreamlands
Right.
for his contracting business. So that's a big piece for us, is making sure we have that alignment. But I think at least monthly. especially if you have aggressive goals and you're numbers oriented, or you're really looking at
Right.
breaking into something brand new for yourself, check in on it monthly, because a month is actually a really long time.
Yeah.
Mm.
And if you start going like this in week 1, you could head up way over here in a month.
I like weekly, but
Yeah.
on a small scale.
Right.
Like, and I do love the planning. I love making the big goal and then breaking it down quarterly, monthly, weekly. Like, so what do I have to do every single week to get to that goal at the end of the month or quarter? But I think things get in the way. Like you were saying, sometimes we realize I actually don't have the skill to get there.
Yeah.
So I got to back this up a little bit. What do I need to do to go get the skill, or hire someone else who has the skill?
Yeah.
Maybe it's knowledge. So, you decided to do a different health plan, basically. So did you know that all on your own? Did you have to go get, do some research into it, and then,
Or even
make
guilt,
the
where
commitment?
you're like, no, wait a minute, I that isn't my goal anymore. I want to work on myself personally. So
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't have the motivation to be focused on over here. I want to focus right here.
Right.
No, it's important.
Yeah, that's the
So
most
then-
important thing.
What are some quick steps that someone could do instantly? If you could come up with 5 steps for someone who didn't do their 2020 plan,
Right.
and you said, okay, I want you to finish it in 1 week. You've got 1 week to come up with, what are 5 things that someone could do instantly that could help them at least get the base of that plan together?
So I would say at a bare minimum, and I'll just tell you the process that I go through at the beginning of the year, and it's a half a day or a day at the most, and we do it really quick. The first thing I do is I download everything I did well last year, so every win, because I write it all out, because I had a really rough year last year, so I was like, oh, I better write this out, or I'm never going to feel good about 2019.
Mhm.
And then you feel really good about the year before, because you accomplished some things, which tells you, it'll inform you what you enjoyed, what you want to do more of, where you want to grow. And that's really important. If you don't look back, you're never going to be able to look forward. I mean, you don't want to stay back there, but you have to reflect. So I would say reflect and celebrate your wins. The next thing I do, I always start with financial, because I have a lot of overhead and things that I have to cover. So financial is a big thing. We have a lifestyle that we maintain, as we all do. So I tend to start with financial personally, but that may not be the biggest goal for you, depending on the business you're in or what you're trying to accomplish. But if it's a financial piece, I go there, because that will help me build the other things. I then also, for me, in terms of planning, I look at what do I love. So I used to do what would make me the most money.
Yeah, right.
Right. And then if you're just starting your business, that's not a bad place to start. What will make you the most money? Because you want to stay in business as long as you can. But as your business grows, you may have that flexibility to say, like, what do I really love? Because if we don't have that will, we're right back to that. We're not going to get there. So I'm going to look at what do I really love and focus on that. And then I'm going to assess, do I have the skills that I need in order to focus in that area? And if I don't, what are the gaps there? Because that'll stop me if I don't have the skill. So now I've got passion. I found the things I'm passionate about, so I should have all the motivation I need. I found the things that I've discovered what I need to learn, so I can overcome those skill gaps. And then I got to really dig deep and go, okay, do I have the guts to do this?
Yeah.
Because and there are
That's
little
a tough
fear
one.
pieces that trip me up all the time, and we all avoid the stuff we don't like,
Right.
of course. And a lot of what we don't like is actually based in fear.
Absolutely.
How
Yeah.
many times do we not pick up the phone because we don't want to be rejected?
Oh yeah, I don't pick up the
I
phone.
hate picking up the
Not
phone.
happening.
I hate it. But for me, it's core to my business, and I know it. And I know if I want to get here, I got to start picking up the phone. And so there's things like that. So what fear might trip you up? You've got to kind of get rid of those things. So once you've got that down, if you've got your financial goals, you've got the items that you want that you're really passionate about, you've got a plan on what skills you need to develop. That's a pretty solid plan.
No kidding.
Right? And then you can set your goals. And as Lynn said, you can start to really, so you've got this year plan, which is insurmountable and hard to digest. And you're like, holy cow, can I really do this? Once you start to break that down into monthly, weekly, it becomes pretty manageable.
Yeah.
Now, if you're in a seasonal business like myself, weekly doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like I have to be really comfortable with this week. I might not make very much because I'm not running programs.
Right.
Whereas I know I've got to hit, April, May, June, July, hard. So understanding your ebbs and flows in your business is really important
Yeah,
too.
no kidding, right?
But the best thing you can do, just as a bare minimum, is look at what you've done so far and what's possible.
Yeah, because I don't think people give themselves enough credit for that, and that's why
Big
it's
time.
one of
Yeah.
the things that I teach is that on Fridays I want you to do a
Yeah,
post on your
celebrate
personal
it, yeah.
timeline, pick a success from that
Yeah.
week and celebrate it, shout it out. let the people know who follow you that you've got that success. And that just, you know what, if that's just for ourselves as well as for our audience, right?
Mhm.
It makes you feel pretty good when you, because I do it every Friday morning, no joke. I look back over my week and I go, okay, what was successful this week? And I pull it out and I feel pretty good, right? So it
Great
really just changes
exercise.
your mindset,
Yeah.
right? And it can be
Yeah.
personal or business,
Yep.
whatever that success element is, right? But it
Mhm.
just really changes your whole mindset. You know, you're upbeat at that point.
You're like,
oh my God, look what I
exactly.
did.
Another week
Yeah.
went by, I got
Yeah.
nothing done. You can't feel that way.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
you're going to have something. And
Yeah.
what I would add into this whole thing is I think people, or myself, it's just me. If I feel overwhelmed,
Mm.
if I feel unorganized, if I'm distracted, and that's why I don't get to things. And so I did this course years ago called Organize Your Life, and it was in all these different categories, and it was pretty in depth. And what was amazing about it was in each area there was the thing they called the monkey on your back.
Yeah.
So like, what's the thing that you keep walking by? You guys can see it, everyone else can't. There's something sitting in the corner here. We're having something done in our basement, and so there's stuff in other places of the house right now.
Like
I don't.
clutter almost, right?
It's clutter. I don't deal well with that.
Yeah.
So
Me
I
neither.
am so less productive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just choose and get that done first.
Yeah.
Like some of that stuff, maybe you have to do something in your home office, your workspace.
Because that's important.
Or
Your
your-
workspace is really important.
Yeah.
Because if you're not
Everything.
inspired by your workspace or it doesn't function the way you need it to, you're
Or your
never going to accomplish
exercise
things.
space. Like let's
Yeah.
say, you
Yes.
know, so what
Absolutely.
Heather's doing. What if you need to go, okay, like I have nothing great to wear to the gym because it's been a while.
Mhm.
I don't have a bag really that works.
Mhm.
It's unorganized and all my stuff. Like sometimes it's backing up even further, I think, to just get that everything's set a little bit more clear to actually do the thing you need to do. And
It just makes it easier for you to actually do it,
Oh,
Right.
100%.
right? The environment
Yes.
that you create, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't like picking up the phone. But if I had to, there's going to be music on in the background, right? There's going to be
have
something.
your coffee or your
Yeah,
favorite
yeah,
drink.
exactly.
you know.
Something that's just going to make me a little more comfortable when I go to dial that number,
Yeah.
right? So create the environment to work in, whatever it is, whatever you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. Now, I mean, something I want to add, and maybe I'm speaking for other people, but for me personally, this whole thing of this yearly plan that happens, you know, in January,
Right.
like January 1st, that doesn't work for me. My kids are still off; they're not back in school, so I'm either doing it in the end of November or I'm doing it the third week of January into now. And you know what I want to say is that's okay. I feel like there's this, you know, even when you go on social media, you know, from an entrepreneur perspective, and everyone's like, "Oh, what's your plan? And what are your January goals?" And it's like January 1st, and like hit it running. You know, that doesn't work for everybody,
Mhm.
and it's
Still
okay.
working on mine.
Right.
I did a vision board exercise yesterday
Yeah, I
because
saw
I'm
that.
like, I want as much clarity as humanly possible on where I
Absolutely.
want to go and what I want to do. I did points of view with Heather DeSanto
Mhm.
recently, which gave me a whole new perspective on the biggest thing that I'm trying to crack the nut on.
I'd
you
love
know?
to do that.
It's brilliant.
Mm. Is it? Yeah?
I really
I
enjoyed
saw
it.
the
Cool.
picture of that with the kind of
It's
like
very good. Yeah.
circle and the thing,
Huh.
things. Yeah. But yeah, I think my point is it doesn't necessarily have to
No.
be like your year could start
No.
now.
And don't feel
Because-
like then you might feel like you're behind.
Yeah.
You know,
Like
you know what?
everyone else is.
Well, that's
I
what
was
it
supposed to be
always
down 10
did
pounds
to
by
me.
now.
I always felt like I
That's the
wasn't.
same every year.
Right.
You feel like you left out. Like you feel like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I didn't get mine done by
Yeah, the
January
pressure of it
2nd.
and-
So
And now
I'm
you're
not
beating
good
yourself
enough.
up.
I'm not.
Yeah.
absolutely.
You
Guess
really,
what?
every environment, no matter what you're doing, you have to make sure it works for you.
Yeah,
You
it's
have
like
to.
that saying, you know, the best day to plant a tree is today.
Right.
Because
It doesn't
It
matter
doesn't
what
matter.
day. It's
It
what
doesn't-
day works
You're
for
full
you.
of sayings
I know,
like
I know.
that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
No
no
original material
plant
at all.
tree today.
No original material at all. God love her. Oh my goodness.
All right. So,
So
should we
I
wrap
love
it up?
Yeah.
So just to summarize, if you
Yeah.
don't have your plan, don't panic. Every day is a great day to plan,
Yeah.
and the future is still ahead of you. So you're not running out, hopefully. So we still have an opportunity to make a great year or a great next 12 months. My business year end is July 31st. So you know,
Right.
but I still
Mhm.
plan calendar wise. I can't, my brain doesn't,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not that flexible.
Mhm.
So then you want to look at, why have you not made your plan? What's getting in your way? Do you have to build some skills? Do you have to build some courage to get where you want to go? Do you have the motivation that you need, or are you clear enough on what you want? So first thing, get clear. Celebrate your wins from last year and get really clear on what you want to do more of. And that'll help you set on your path. Let us
That's
know.
awesome.
Let us know your
Great
plans.
show. Thank you, Tracy.
show.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
fantastic.
great.
Thank
Yeah. So, hey, follow us on YouTube.
you.
Hey,
You're just like, so hey.
if you'd like, you could follow us on YouTube or recommend others follow us on YouTube if they don't, go on Facebook. We appreciate it. Okay, whatever. I'm just going to say goodbye. Bye.
Bye.
Have a great day.
Thank you for joining us.